why you see there. It's a kind of followership, but not in the subservient sense. It's kind of respectable one. So there's no way you will not get followership anywhere you go. So we now said effective followership in politics involves what? One, critical thinking. Jan Willis was saying, what do you expect the masses to think critically? And I said, why not? If you think Ilubotimọ, Iye Ilubora, Ekilowade, mọ́tò tí ń gbé wa láti Ọ̀yọ́ dé Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́, ó ń ta 300 naira tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀, now it's 1,500 naira. Kí ló wá dé bẹ̀rẹ̀ kó ti mọ̀, Tinubu ti yan subsidy? Are they not thinking critically? They are. At their local level, it is. And that's why it's going to affect the prices of goods and services. So that critical thinking also leads to constructive criticism. These governments are not doing well. Why are you doing like this? You voted you there. You say we renewed hope. Now you are doing something else. They are not really for the people. And that leads you to informed decision making. The leaders will then take decisions that are informed, that will suit the people or one way or the other, and that one takes us back to what? Active participation. That's why people participate actively, and that is what we are doing. How do we sensitize the people? From here you go, you are talking to people now. You won't just say you are a citizen. You will say, if my prof goes back now, how can I know you are really mobilizer and a lawyer among women? He said, look, you people are not just citizens, you are followers, you must do something. We must stop. Oníṣẹ́ tó kà lọ́jà àbíjà, akọ̀kọ̀ àjẹsí máa bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ díẹ̀, wọ́n sì máa gbọ́. Ẹ̀yin náà ti ṣe ti yín nìyẹn. Is that not so, my prof? Exactly. So we say, if in politics, that effective followership ensures that power is exercised responsibly and citizen voices are responsibly. If you or all those people, I will say we cannot talk. They will exercise power as they like. But even with all those fears, the potential threat of the use of force by the small cabal, people still say, no, we cannot keep quiet. We must stop. And they are talking. Protest is going on all over the country, albeit in a small way, big way, depending on the state. But it means agree with suffering. Must we talk or you?
Yeah. Now it's because the followers are talking and the voices are heard. That's why it is done. So you can see the importance of followers. Next slide. See, we are now on the importance of followers because it holds leaders accountable. It builds trust. It encourages participation. Just look at the manner of people that are coming out. It provides feedback. Now government comes up with various decisions. People are saying, look guys, we have agreed to 70,000 minimum wage. Let's watch slowly. We can bargain more. Let's take that one and take back our arrears from it. From there, we get things done. Feedback to government. Government say, look, our people yóò ṣe àwọn ọ̀tẹ̀ kakọ̀ máa ṣe bákan tó bá ti dàbí fún wa ìlú àdàdo. They get the feedback that they have to work harder to be in government. So because it's an informed decision making. Citizens, leaders, they make decisions based on fact, leaders, and diverse perspective. That's what we are doing. And we say that recognizing the importance of followership government, we can build a more responsive, accountable, and effective government that truly serve people. When we talk about governance, we know there are various criteria: accountability, responsibility, transparency, and so on and so forth. That is the role that the followers must ensure that the government is aware of. Because if you don't, government will just do anyhow. Next slide. Now say how can followers actively participate in governance? It's so simple. Followers can take a more active part in governance through various means which help them contribute effectively to the political process process and ensure that their voices are heard. These steps are one, voting. It will be like in the democratic system we have to vote.
So they said your vote, your right to vote is like passport to heaven. If you decide, like General William said that the Yorubas don't vote, you are losing that right. And what have they done in Lagos? You saw the last election. What happened to them? The Igbos almost took over everywhere and they started shouting. Why are you shouting? You refuse to vote. Igbo will stay outside and till doomsday they're gonna vote. Yoruba ó ti rẹ̀ pé èmi lọ sílé àwọn kìíní nǹkan ó ti wá ọ̀káǹtì kí la kàn ṣe bí wọ́n dẹ̀ ti gbowó. Now you are saying that Igbo people are taking over Lagos, come and see women and stuff like that. All those things, you must vote. Me, I always go. When I'm going, I wear jeans, I wear sneakers. Toba Dolani, Mate, chair. I will sit on the chair. I will vote. I will even wait for the votes to be counted. I will count the people on the line. They said vote and wait for the votes to be counted. If you don't do that, you are doing yourself a great injustice. The next one is public advocacy and lobbying. You see various civil society groups, they are into this. They educate people, they lobby on various issues and stuff like that. Then participating in public consultations and hearings. When they are doing things like the National Assembly, people go. They open the gallery to the public. Everybody, you can go and register and listen. Sometimes you write stuff on paper and you pass it on and you collate all those things. Then you run for office. It starts from the university. For instance, students' union, associations, they start, you see all manner of students coming up running for offices. By the time they go out, they become, they are well versed in that art of running for office and they do like that. Next one, participating in peaceful protest. Everybody, you feel the pinch of this government. For me, every time I buy fuel, the minimum I buy is 10 in a day. If I buy 10 as we are coming at what 10, as I'm going back, it's already down. When I'm coming back tomorrow, I'll buy another 10 because I'm doing Ijebu with my money. I say this 10. But at the end of the week, I will buy about 60,000. I will come to school almost every day. It pinches me. Now, the other day, they bought me, I eat peanut butter on bread a lot. That's my own indulgence, Groundnut that they are put and put there. And before it used to be like 1,500. Now it's like 3,008. And they will buy me 3. That's 10,000. Within a month, I will finish it. And I say, plantain is 4 pieces is 2,000. I can eat dodo like no man's business, even in my dream. And you tell me, I said, buy something will kill somebody. This thing is pinching me. And I said, at my level, buying 4 pieces of plantain for 2,000, how will the poor man feel? How will the average man feel? So, we participate. You see people, somebody took a placard, he said, it's because of Tinubu's policies that have not seen us back. But it's the truth. Guys will not get married now. They said, I have not gotten a job, I'm not buying stereo, smart TV, car, I have not even buying land. When we like to the woman, make it come, they move all over the places. So the ladies are just out there with their husband. So you can see. So we participate in peaceful before is peaceful protest. But then, how do we draw the line between peaceful and violent protest? Protesters, they say they are hijacked by hoodlums. Everybody knows the interest they are coming to participate. So when you are conducting protests, what are those steps you will put in place to make sure that it is not hijacked by people that is a different problem entirely? Then contacting elective representatives and so on. We have moved forward. There is one that I have not talked about. Then volunteering. This last one is important. In Nigeria, we are not used to the culture of volunteering. We should try and do that. Like students can volunteer, colleagues can volunteer without being paid. Just for the experience of it. It helps a lot. They do it in other times and they are taking, big steps forward. So by taking these steps, you can become more active and engage citizens and contribute to a healthier democracy. The next one, we will soon finish, followership and leadership. That's where I want Ambassador Irubu to help me look at it. We said there is a positive correlation between followership and leadership. That effective leadership is often dependent on effective followership. For instance, if you are a follower and you have mutual trust, shared vision, collaboration, support, accountability. It will lead to effective leadership. Because you are not sitting down. All these things, you are following the leaders every time. You trust them. These guys are doing what we put there. Good. Legitimacy is guaranteed. You understand? Then you have a shared vision. It's just like we all come here. For instance, most people say, what do they want to talk about followership? Oh, I believe a little, I have a different opinion, let me just go and listen. At least you have an inkling. You have, just let me see, it's a kind of shared vision. You have it. Then they collaborate, support, accountable. Then you have effective leadership. Next slide. He's sleeping. Yes. Then another one is that is the first one is the positive correlation. Then you can have a negative correlation between followership and leadership. When followers, they don't trust the leaders, there is poor communication, there is dictatorship, and there is abuse of power. It leads to ineffective leadership. So you can see these two, they are both negative. Ineffective followership leads to ineffective leadership. The leader doesn't know what to do. The followers are apathetic. So both of them, they are doomed for the something else. Let's move to the next one. Then they will try to get a model which we call followership, influence, and leader. That followership influence their leader just as leaders influence their followership. So that means there is a kind of crisscrossing between followers and leaders. You can't leave one to the other. That's why your perspective, all of your perspectives comes into being. The model suggests that effective leadership is a product of both followership and influence. A leader may have strong followership, but without influence, they might struggle to achieve their goals. Similarly, a leader may have significant influence, but without followership, they may lack the support and resources needed to succeed. Next, we did a triangulation. Followership, whether good or bad, leads to good or bad leadership, leads to good or bad governance. Whatever you want to look at it, there is a synthesis, a sync between the three, and it's what we call triangulation. Like you said, there's no way you can remove leadership from followership, and when you have good followership, good leadership, it leads to good governance. If you have bad followership, bad leadership, it leads to bad governance and vice versa. Let's go to the next slide. Now, what we are saying for the three correlations between followership and leadership, for instance, is that followers trust and support leaders who in turn empower and inspire followers. Leaders operate within the governance framework. We set boundaries and ensure accountability. Then, governance and followership. Governance provides the structure and oversight that protect the interests of followers and ensure their voices are heard. So you can see that you can begin to synthesize bad followers, good leadership. It's endless. You can just form any one you have depending on the type of followers, leaders, and governance. So everybody's perspective is taken care of here. Next slide. In conclusion, we said effective followership ensures responsible power exercise and that citizens' voices are always heard. Recognizing followership creates a responsive, accountable government that effectively serves the people. Leadership, followership, and governance works interdependently to foster active citizens, resulting in a healthier and more engaged democracy. Thank you for listening. Yes, because of time, we, like I told us at the beginning, the purpose of General Williams, his main idea is for us to create a virtual lab in Uniloring. Virtual lab means we will go online. We can use different platforms. We administer questionnaire. We create scenarios. We come up with theories. And people keying all over the world. It's a virtual space. They are doing it in different fields. And we want to try it as a model in Uniloring. Why it took so long with the Vice Chancellor and his team is that the Vice Chancellor bought into the idea and he has agreed on the modalities for us to use to set up that virtual lab. So while we were working on this workshop, we also came and let us try our own virtual lab in a very simple way. If you all remember, majority of you sitting down here, we sent in questionnaires to you. Pilot study, result of this pilot study. Pilot study. We sent in questionnaires to you, and we raised some questions. For instance, we asked our respondents, what do you think is followership means? And we put alternative answers under. What is your own role and responsibility? Is your government responsible? Do you have bad government, good government? We put all those things, and at the end of the day, we were able to get about 153 responses back, and we analyzed the data using simple pie charts and diagrams. And we discovered truly that some people don't even know their responsibilities as followers. They just think as a follower, you elect your leader and that is it. Then when people call for protest, you then come and start protesting. There are a lot of things in between that we do. So we have this as the result of the pilot study. And when we did that,
maybe we create a group of the participants and send it to you so that you can have access, because it's like about 15 or 20 something slides, and I don't think we have the time to start going through what I want. It would have been a good thing, but we know people, we are ready for lunch. Food will be served. Don't worry, we'll give it to you. That is it. You can see if you go to, for instance, the study revealed an understanding about their own responsibilities and obligations and followers. A significant 54% majority believe that being a responsible citizen means respecting the laws and rules of society, indicating the foundational recognition of legal adherence as a core civic duty. They know that duty. Then social media, we will send it to you. After my presentation, Dr. Kidishi will talk about virtual lab. Because that is what the Narabide really wanted, and we don't want events to overtake that. So if you give us what we have done on virtual lab, I'm sure by the time we come back, we take people's perspective, views, and comments, we will get many insights into the issue of followership and leadership. Thank you very much for your patience.
Thank you very much. This note, let me invite then we go for break. Please bring back.
Okay, thank you. Adding on the already established protocol, nevertheless, want to appreciate and recognize General Williams, who appreciated this idea. Not skip this. I will not spend more time on the background again. We have already heard that the importance of leaders and followers. Some are the idea that we focus on leaders, but some have the idea that we focus on followers. Both are important. Both leaders and followers. We need good leadership and good followership to build a nation. So therefore, I will skip this. People have mentioned Rwanda. Rwanda is one of the countries where we have, and what happened? The followers are involved. Right for decision making, implementation, and monitoring of the decision. So I also skip all this. We have already had that. So we move to the use of the lab. It became popular during the COVID period when it was difficult or unsafe for students to go to physical lab to perform their experiments, particularly in the sciences, in the physical sciences. So what they do is to create a virtual lab where, like creating the physical lab in a virtual form, they stimulate all their equipments and tools in digital form, where students will come and perform their experiment from home online and submit their assignment. Now we want to replicate that in social sciences. In social sciences, we can also have a virtual lab where researchers and respondents can interact fully online, remotely, without necessarily going to them physically. So you can interact, create scenarios where you can interact. So this is what we want to do. One of the objectives is, okay, we want to carry out, start or analyze the behavior of followers in our society, and how do we educate the followers to have effective and good followers in the society. We must know rigorous research so that we know how to what is missing in the followership team in the society, so that we know how to educate them. So therefore, we need to create a platform through which we can interact with the followers and now know what kind of education they need for us to create effective and good followers in our society. So we move past all these areas. So there are a number of things like the these are some of the advantages. I will skip all this one. Let me go through this because of time. The challenges also skip this. Okay. I'll start from here slowly. Now, we want to create a virtual lab to study followership in Nigerian society. We need to first define our purpose. What is our purpose? What is the goal of this lab? After defining the goal, we have to identify the parameters we want to study. Because in the interaction, so many things will come up. It's not everything we want. So now, what are the parameters we want to capture in this interaction? Then we select a platform. There are about three different types of virtual lab we can have. We have remote triggered labs, we have measurement lab, and we have simulation lab. Those who are existing now, we have the existing labs. For most of the existing labs, they have specific purpose. They have specific purpose they want to solve. But this purpose, is it the same thing what we want to do or what we want to achieve? If no, we have to create our own. Even if we are adapting the existing one, we have to modify it or recreate it to suit the purpose of our own research. Now, we have different. This slide. So this is the proposal now. What we are proposing to the organizers and our partners is to create a lab, and these are the goals of the lab. Number one is to understand followership dynamics in Nigeria. So, what are we going to study? The characteristics of followers. What type of followers do we have in Nigeria? The majority of followers, what are their characteristics? Then, the behavior of followers, the actions of followers, their perception of followers. How do they perceive themselves before they did that? What is their perception about leadership? What is their perception about governance? So, again, what also study the ability of followers to coordinate themselves to pursue common interests. So these are the objectives of the lab we want to create. How do they behave in terms of solving common social problems, in terms of solving common political problems, in terms of solving common economic problems? So this we want to study in the lab. And how do they communicate among themselves? Followers. What is the level of communication among followers in Nigeria, and how do they do communication? We want to also understand that. But it's important to communicate before they can act collectively. So, at community level, individual, what is the communication level among followers? Then what is the communication level between followers and leaders? And how do they communicate between followers and leaders? We also want to understand this so that we now know how to go forward from here. Now, having said these goals, we have the following key question we want to answer. Do followers know their rights? Do they know their roles? What extent are they performing the roles? Followers, what the communication among them, what is the level of communication among followers and how do they communicate? And what is the level of communication between followers and leaders and how do they do this communication? Then also want to understand how are followers involved in decision making in the society. decision making that affect their life. So how do they get involved in decision making in terms of social involvement, political involvement, and economic participation? So these are the questions we would like to answer in this virtual lab. So what is the objective of the lab? All these things are goal of the research, but the objective of the lab is this. We want to create a lab where we have a window of interaction between the researchers and followers in the society. So that in this interaction, we allow followers to discuss and interact freely, so that we capture the mind and the behavior of the followers naturally. For this lab, it's not going to be simulation as it is in current existing platforms. Most of the platforms that are existing now, they do simulation. What do? They will create artificial world where we have followers and leaders interacting. Just like this children game where you have armed robbers, police fighting each other, something like that. But we don't want to do that. So they will create, like we have leaders in political arena, or we have leaders in the market, buyers, sellers, or in the organization, manager and workers. So they will not create it artificially, now do assumptions. Suppose followers behave this way, what will be the outcome? Suppose manager behave this way, what will be the outcome? We don't want to do that. We may do that from time to time, but we don't want to focus on that. And also we want to have direct interaction with the followers. We can create a scenario that this is a political scenario. So we now see what is the response of the followers. So we create a political scenario or a social scenario and an economic scenario. So we are everybody will participate. Is their reaction to this. So with this, we want to gather information on followers and followership. So with this information, we get a database. Currently, there is only database on followers and followership in Nigeria. So this will be first attempt to generate and create a database, a robust database on followers and followership in Nigeria. So with this platform, we want to generate data, a robust data set so that even other researchers can use the data of our followers. So we also analyze, not just collect data, we analyze the data, and for the analysis, we want to understand the characteristics of followers and activities of followers in the society. And we can also model. We model the characteristics of followers based on the data. And from there, we can now decide, okay, what kind of education and sensitization do followers need in the society for us to have effective and good followership in the society. But if we don't do this analysis, we may not know exactly what kind of education and sensitization they need. So with this analysis, we will know what kind of education and sensitization they need to create effective and good followership in the country. Now the proposal is going to be a hybrid framework. It's not just a particular because I mentioned earlier that we have 3 types. It's not just going to be a particular one. We are going to have hybrid of a number of things. Now, mainly we are going to have a remote trigger lab, mainly. That will be the focus. So the remote trigger lab will be a lab whereby we will trigger an interaction. We will create an interaction, like a scenario. Say, okay, it's a political scenario, or market scenario, or social scenario. Then we allow people who are participants in the platform to respond. Then after analysis, we now go back and feedback to the followers. We now discuss the feedback freely with them. Then from time to time, we also use there are some interactive platform in the LMS framework. We can also some of them to interact with then the social media, like we did recently, the pilot study. We use social media to. So these are the things we are going to do. Then from these predictions, from this model, we'll be able to predict the behavior of followers for event. Because if this event happens, this is likely to be the behavior or how followers will respond to such a scenario. So we'll be able to do all these things with in our lab. Now, the operation. The initial plan is to start from University of Ilorin, most likely in the faculty, where we will host the first lab, and the lab will be the center, will be the main center. Then later on, we need to create operating units across the country, in different parts of the country. But the central lab will be connected to the operating units, so that whatever that is going on in the operating unit will be monitored from the center. Because the center will generate the scenario, and the scenario will also be replicated in the unit. So therefore, we have by that we're able to study not just learning or Kwara State, we're able to study behavior of followers all over the country. And perhaps in the long run, we can also extend African countries where we can study behavior of followers across the continent. Then, further also include how do we now get participants? So we will allow voluntary sign in, we have people voluntarily register. Then we also recruit people. There will be people who will follow for a long period of time, not just study them once and leave them. No. We will register them and we will follow them for a period of time and see how their behavior is changing over time and across different status. For example, we can start with students. We recruit students into the lab, then we study them as their students. Then if they graduate, maybe unemployed graduate, how do they behave? Do they change? Then by the time they get job, we also study them. We continue to study them like that. So we have like a cohort of students or cohort of participants that we can study over a period of time. So if there's attrition, we make replacement. Or we can allow the attrition to go, then we add it every year. We can start with a small group, next year we add another group, like that. At the end of the day, we have the balance panel that we can analyze at the individual level. Then we can use our own interpersonal connections and links to get participants into this lab. Then I said we can start with our students. So because of our relation with the student, it's easy to enroll students into this kind of thing. We talk with them, it's voluntary, it's not compulsory. Then we will give them ID, not necessarily their name, so that because of the ethical issue, we give them ID to identify each participant. And this ID will go along over the time that we are studying the individual until we end that particular group, then start another set of cohort. So this is the proposal for the lab. Thank you. Then, okay, I've already mentioned this, that we are going to create different scenarios or experiments. And the experiment will be both political, social, and economic. So that we'll now see how followers behave in different political environment, different social environment, and different economic or business environment. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, sir, for that wonderful presentation. Now we move to break. We have 2 minutes. Take our after which and the other program that we have in today's event will just take about 30 minutes. Thank you very much. 15 minutes.